Hello and welcome to Full Follow-Up Thursday morning with me today. I have Brayton Lester. How you doing, Brayton?
I'm doing okay. I got a bit of a stomach winter bug going around right now, so could be definitely be better, but overall I'm doing pretty good.
So tell us, Brayton, I got hooked up with you from Bob.
hmm
So what type of um things can you say about your racing career up to this point that are fantastic?
Yeah, so I've had definitely a bit of a unique racing career for someone at my, career path. Running the Arkham Menard series full time. Next, I've been running part time for the past couple of years, and a lot of people know that part of me. They know me as the Arca guy. They know me as the pizza guy. I have the pepperoni pizza helmet. But I grew up, doing outlaw figure eight racing here in Indianapolis and doing, dirt late models around the Midwest. And I never really did a whole lot of asphalt late model stuff. I always did the dirt late model stuff. And I did, some like street stock style racing and got started out in go-karts. But going back to some big moments in my career, I was a young up and comer at my home track for a long time, and I broke a lot of youngest driver to do this, youngest driver to start this race, youngest driver to do to finish rookie of the race in this big prestigious race at my home track. So that was pretty cool to be able to go do that, and then going to Daytona. I raced for 10, 11 years, never really thinking I was going to get an opportunity to go to Daytona, and then being able to go and make my first, ARCA Menard Series start there at Daytona International Speedway back in 2022. That was very, very surreal. And, a lot of drivers think of Daytona as, the big the wham, that's where dreams are made of. Every driver wants to race at Daytona, and I was very fortunate to not only have gone there once, twice, three times. I'm going back for my fourth time this upcoming year, and I'll never forget, going to Daytona that very first time. And every time I go, it has that same atmosphere.
So tell us, what what keeps you going? I mean, racing is such a sport where you could just easily throw in the towel and say, this ain't for me. But what keeps racing in your blood? And at a very young age, how are you successful at what you do?
Yeah, it's very much, it's a hobby for some, it's a business for others, and I try to kind of look at it in the middle ground because ARCA is kind of that last stepping stone where you either you make it or you don't. You can move up to the Truck Series and Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, or some people will call ARCA, the poor man's cup, which hasn't been referred to that in a couple years now. So I try to have a lot of fun with it. So a lot of drivers, they sit there and they're in it just for the money, and they're able to go and get these $1 million sponsorship, millions of dollars worth of sponsorship, from uncle or their dad or mom or grandma or whoever they know that is on the board of directors for a Fortune 500 company, and that's very nice and convenient. I don't have that luxury, so I have to work a little bit harder, and we're sitting there watching my hard work come to fruition. Sitting here, and I go to work, 9 to 5, except not today because I'm sick. And then I'll come home and I'll send emails, and I'll cook dinner, and then I'll send more emails, and then I'll get more phone calls ready. And then whenever I have a slow moment during the workday, I'll sit there and I'll make phone calls. So I work very hard to get where I'm at, to be successful to be successful at the level that I'm at. It takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of just, there's a lot more that goes into racing than just showing up to the racetrack in my helmet and driving. I'm still working on race cars. I'm racing locally, and I'll go down to the team shop in Pulaski, Tennessee, winning Peterson Motorsports, and I'll help them out whenever I can. A bit of a drive, so I'm not able to go down as much as I'd like. I'd like to be down there every day, but that's just not feasible with being a 4 or 5 hour drive. So seeing my hard work and determined payoff is the big thing for me. And I don't know if I can call it a hobby. I don't know if I can call it a job. But right there in the middle, and I'm having fun doing it. That's a big thing for me. I'm having fun doing it.
What what's going to be a successful year for your first year in the Aqua Series full time, buddy?
Yeah, we're with Peterson Motorsports, and they're a bit of a lower tier operation. They work as hard as anyone. Wayne has been around NASCAR for 4+ decades as a car owner and a driver himself for many years. And when you're racing at this level, obviously money talks, and money is able to buy a speed and a lot more so than at a local level, and it's very much a NASCAR operation we're going against. And you have Joe Gibbs running a Cup caliber level equipment. You have Pinnacle running the Chevy forefront there with Shane Huffman behind the wheel there. He's a mastermind at setting a race car up. So it's hard to go against these guys, and they have what seems like unlimited funding compared to us. It basically is. So we're gonna go out there and successful season for us would be, a couple of top tens, but just bringing the car home in one piece, and, a top 10 in points would be really good. And we're not expecting too many full-time drivers. I think, they've only announced 4 or 5. They've announced, Brandon Queen. That got posted, a week or so ago. So going against him for a championship, I don't think we're going to be able to go neck and neck with him, but it'd be pretty cool to maybe contend a little bit with him if we can on the short track, which is kind of his specialty. So I don't think a championship is within reach, but I think we can definitely go out there and get top 5 maybe, or especially top 10 in points, and just bring the car home every race is all the team wants from me, and a couple top tens to go along with it would be really sweet.
So, talk to us about real quick how much support you got in racing with your family and
hmm
racing background from your family.
Yeah, so family obviously is a big deal in racing for a lot of drivers, and it is for me. My dad has worked on cars locally for 3 4 decades now, since he was a youngin, and he started owning cars 30 years ago. And an 8-year-old can't go and just buy a go-kart. They're obviously gonna need help from the family. That's pretty common sense. So obviously I had a lot of help from my dad, as far as getting me tuned from the track and helping work on the cars. And we never really had the greatest stuff. It was always second, third, sometimes fourth hand stuff, like hand-me-down stuff. So I've never really had the best equipment per se, but my dad's definitely been there a long way throughout the entire journey. Where either he owned the car I was driving, or helped with set the car up, and with the ARCA stuff, just kind of able to be a little bit more hands off. Spend a little more or take a more relaxed approach. Just kind of sit there and watch other people do the work. And as I kind of got older too, I kind of began taking the lead as far as getting the car set up and working on that. So that's a very different aspect of it. As you grow older, and kind of learn to be more hands-on, and that's where I've been the last couple of years now. Is my dad's kind of would sit there at the shop, and he runs a small junkyard operation there, and I'll be there whenever I can, work on race cars. So that's a very big deal for us. Is we aren't able to necessarily have someone there to be full-time working on race cars. We still race locally, a lot of late model stuff. So I got to sit back there and do a lot of it myself with limited help. We don't have a full-time guy, like I just said. And it definitely
Yeah.
puts us at a disadvantage when it comes to that, because there's still a lot of late model teams, even locally, that have like a full-time crew guy to help on the race car stuff. They have a designated person, and we just don't quite have that.
So real quick, and I got two more questions for you, and then we'll wrap up. But real quick, uh, what do you, what personally is going to be a successful season for you, Brayton Lester? What is in your heart? What do you want out of yourself?
Yeah, like I said, I really like just going out there and having fun. I'm not there partying per se, but I like having a good time, getting to spend it with some great people that the Wayne Peterson Motorsports crew provides that atmosphere. And they're very go happy. They're excited to be there. They're there because they love it. They love the sport. They're passionate about the sport. So I like going out there and spending time with those guys and having fun. And I think being able to get a couple top tens, like I mentioned a little bit ago, couple top tens for me. My career would be great. I've never had a full-time opportunity like this in the ARCA Menard series, and we're going to be out there being able to be there for all 20 races, running full time, running the full races, and we're going to do a little bit of a stricter budget than most teams and most drivers do. So that's why we kind of got to have the fun in it. We know we're not going to win a race. If we do, well, there are going to be some pigs and some cows flying around victory lane too. But we're going to try our hardest, and we're at least going to have fun doing it.
All right. I'm glad you tried your hardest to make it through this interview. My final question has to do with um, is there anyone that you'd like to thank before we wrap up this show?
I just want to thank, everyone on the team, Wayne Peterson and the entire crew, especially Nate Mulder, the awesome, awesome crew guy, crew chief there. Excited to work with him next year. Then, Nate at our shop, Nate Rowe there helps out a lot with the late model stuff and sacrifices a lot. So gotta give a huge shout out to those guys. And of course, my family, my girlfriend, they make so many sacrifices to be there with me at the races and to come to the track and support me, whether it's, handing me a water bottle on the pit stop or it's kind of being there for moral support as well as handful of my sponsors, Auto Repair Event Stickers, Drive for Humanity is a huge operation we're undertaking next year. It's a 501(c)(3) that I launched a couple of years ago, and the whole point of that is kind of help. Those that are hunger or not able to put food on the table or homeless. And so we're doing a deal with that called Mission 2025, where we're going to try and make an impact at every single track we go to, whether it's, sitting there raising awareness to local issues, working with local food banks and, throwing them on the car and, doing a food drive with them or going donating to the local food banks and homeless encampments and helping out where we can there. Junk Car Blaster, accages.com, and Caragio, Camus, all these great people, all these great companies I work with. I'm excited to be with them again for next year for the 2025 Arkham Menard series.
Yeah, so all that information will be in the description of this video. And if people want to get a hold of you, waiting to ask you a question, to ask you a favor, to help out, how we would do so.
Yeah, the biggest way you can find out or reach out to me would be on definitely social media. I'm very active on Twitter. I'm very active on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. I'm on there. Most of my handles for that is at Brayton Laster or at the One Pizza Man. You can go to my website, BraytonLaster.com, and you can scroll to the very bottom there, and I'll have all my social medias kind of linked. You can click on wherever you want to go to, as well as YouTube. Hopefully, posting some more stuff next season. And then for Drive for Humanity, always doing some cool stuff over there. You can go check that out, driveforhumanity.org.
All right. On behalf of Brayton Lester and Full Follow YouTube, this has been Full Follow with Justin Pazio. Goodbye, everyone.